Okay, so this is Aaron's journal. So he's a guy who is well over the age of 40, and he looks to be struggling with autism spectrum disorder, and he's having a lot of difficulties with dating and, even making friends. So I am actually gonna maybe 1.25 or 1.5 this video because I don't want this whole response or reaction video to be this long. So all right, and then I'm gonna put the captions on as well. So let's get right to it.
Hey, welcome to my channel. So this is my first video, so bear with me because I'm kind of winging it here. I'm going to be somewhat going off the script I wrote and somewhat winging it. So I finally decided to take the plunge into this space after years of watching other similar content, but I've not really been seeing anyone speaking from my age group, and I'm 44. There used to be one by the name of Monday F.A. Monday, and I really wish he left his channel up because it was very articulate, very relatable, and he articulated this struggle better than anyone I've ever seen.
Yeah, Monday FA Monday. I remember watching him back in what 2018 ish, 2017, 18, and 19 ish. I'm not sure when he deleted his channel, but it was I know it was before the whole COVID thing started that he deleted his channel. He used to have a Forever Alone channel, and he also had a political channel, and then he deleted both of it. So yeah, he did have some art, some good points that he made, especially for guys who are struggling to date or even make friends in their 40s. So
Since so anyway, so for all intents and purposes, I've pretty much been going through life mostly alone. I've pretty much always been a loner, thanks largely to autism spectrum. Going through life alone is kind of stagnating my growth as a person. I feel, when you don't have the experiences of growing and learning from relationships when you're younger, it's really hard to be a confident, well-adjusted, romantically successful adult, especially one heading into middle age. I mean, it's not that I've never had girlfriends at all, but to have reached my 40s without even one serious long-term cohabiting relationship is not something most people really understand because, let's be honest, relationships just happen naturally for most people.
yeah,
But thanks to my
I mean I can agree because I know with some people, um, like I guess what I'm saying is like the right groups of friends, or like the ones who would understand you and support you. I mean, it's easy to make quote unquote friends, but to make the right kind of friends or social circles or have the right family members who will help guide you, it's very difficult to find them. And I can see that it can also mess you up in the dating realm too. So and it can really, you know, it can really derail your confidence over the course of the years, and it gets harder and harder as you get older. So
huge setback of autism spectrum growing up, I didn't develop the confidence, social skills, and experience in my youth to build upon to become a desirable romantic prospect in adulthood. I'm now a very inexperienced 44-year-old in a complete joke of a dating market. It's just also way harder to meet single people when you get older, let alone make friends, because there's just
yeah,
fewer single people in general, and no one really has the time or energy to accept new people into their long established friend groups. I mean, it's not to say that I haven't made any friends in recent years since I've had some success with Meetup, but no one's in my boat. Almost everyone is coupled up, and they don't really have time for hanging out.
yeah. And when you're surrounded by family members and friends who have already gotten married and have kids, it can really make you feel it can make you feel left out and make you feel like you haven't done shit with your life, even though that's not really true. I mean, I'll be honest, I am lucky in that regard. Like for me being just turned 34 like a week and a half ago. Um, you know, I got lucky that I still have a couple cousins who are not married or even don't have any plans to have kids or get married. I mean, I got a couple high school friends who, who are, just who who are not married yet, not even in a relationship. So, in a way, I got lucky in that regard to not be surrounded by them. But if you're surrounded by people like that, that can really, really affect you in such a negative way. And it can make you think like, oh my God, I've been so behind. I'm already in my mid 40s. Just imagine hitting 45 or 50. It's like, oh my God. I mean, just look at, I don't know if anybody knows Downhill D. Miller, Donnelly Miller. The man is almost 50 years old and he is like, I mean, he's built, he's well in shape. He has a master's degree, but he's just downright just still experiencing loneliness to this day. It's hard, And I'm not just talking about in the dating world. I'm talking about just socializing in general. You may have the looks, you may have the skills, but when the social skills are not there or you don't have the right friends or family members, it can be very difficult. And I'm and it's hard to see or meet people who are around this age who are going through these kinds of things. I would say like above 30 it's hard. 40 is even harder.
So I think there comes a point in time when doing everything alone just makes everything seem incredibly pointless. I mean, what's the point of traveling, for example, when you have no one to share the experience with, you have no one to make the memories with. I mean, going out to enjoy the simple pleasures of life in general just get old when you're always alone. There's just really nothing novel anymore. The excitement is gone. There's no one waiting for me at home. There's never anyone besides a few relatives to celebrate birthdays and Christmases with, and the hope of finding the love of my life just grows dimmer by the year. It's become something in the realm of fantasy to me, or something like winning the Powerball. When you're young, you at least have the four social environments like school and maybe your jobs to meet potential dates, and then maybe meeting others through your social circle. But when you're well past the age when people are settled down and established and you don't have that, the options are really slim, and it feels like you missed the boat. As an aging bachelor, what are my options now realistically? Dating apps haven't worked for me. I've spent hundreds of dollars and maybe a couple of years total on the three major dating apps.
Yeah, and that's the thing I hate about dating apps though. I used to do Tinder. I used to do, what was it, Coffee Meets Bagel. I used to do those. I had barely any success, but I had meet some women, in the past, just in person. It just happened naturally. Like, for example, if I was, at the train station and then somebody asked for direction, and then all of a sudden we ended up dating, going on a couple dates here and there, hitting it off. I mean, I'm not saying that to flex or anything, but, I'm just saying like dating apps are just downright brutal. At least that's my experience. But for this man, it's hard for him to meet people both in person and in dating apps. And, it is really rough, you know. And even though I've gotten pretty comfortable being alone for the time being, it still can get to me sometimes, wishing to be with the right woman. You know, I have gotten screwed over with like with somebody in the past, and that's why I'm not, dating for a while. So
And I got one date, one date out of it that went nowhere.
yeah,
There just wasn't anything there. And of course, she unmatched me right afterward, which didn't surprise me at all. And not one day has come through 6 odd years of meetup either. I struck out 3 times. I mean, at least I tried, right? I did make some friends through there, like I said earlier, but that's about it.
Oh, and I also want to say on a side note, look at his place. It looks pretty nice. See, he's got the piano. He's got the keyboards here. He's got the mixers. I mean, he does music. I did check out some of his music. It seems really cool, And I'm glad he's. I mean, and by the way, though, he's actually happier now than he was when he did this video like 7 months ago. At least by doing this, it has gotten him the opportunity to open up. Okay, sorry about that.
It has got me more active. I am putting myself out there, so there's that. I've had to watch my younger siblings and cousins pair off and start families. And two of my four younger brothers are married with families of their own. Another is engaged with a new family, and the youngest is in a relationship now. I know I should be happy for them, and I am as the big brother, but I can't help but feel pathetic as the big brother and as the oldest.
Yeah, and I can tell with these like family gatherings though, he would be there and then I can tell this with his situation, his own family would bombard him with questions like, so when are you gonna get married? When are you gonna, you know, when are you gonna meet somebody or whatever? Or when are you gonna have kids? And that's the kind of thing that will drive somebody crazy, you know. That's the hard part. And the fact that he has every member of his family. I'm not sure if it's every member or at least most of them. His family, friends, quote unquote friends. I mean, I don't know if he has any decent friends of his or what, but to see them off like already married, having kids, can really affect you big time. It can really do. You know, I mean, um, what's his face? Zoloff sucks. He talked about how he would have like family get-togethers, and then his his aunts, his own family has just wants nothing to do with him. That's because he's got nothing going on. And keep in mind, Zoloff sucks is way worse situation than this man here. I mean, he's a little bit younger, but he's in a way worse situation. The man has zero work experience. He's still living with his mom. Not that there's anything wrong with living with your parents, but the fact that you're leeching off of them and you're relying on them for your survival, that's horrible. At least with Aaron, at least he has his own place. He has like hobbies of his. So, yeah.
For still being alone. I'm still stuck in bachelorhood many years after the norm in the Western world. My ring finger has never had a ring on it, and I honestly don't know if it ever will at this point. And it's becoming harder and harder to even see a future worth looking forward to. In the normal course of things, at least a family or a partner gives a man purpose and drive. He wants to get that better job and improve his career prospects, put in that overtime to afford those vacations in that bigger, nicer home in that nicer neighborhood. Merely supporting myself, though, and living alone in basic small apartments, that's just not enough. No matter what I do to cope and distract myself, I'm just existing. There's nothing to make this endless wage slaving feel worth it. It's just all so empty and hollow at the end of the day. I buy my toys, electronics, music gear. I make music, but I'm going to keep that separate from this channel and help you understand.
Well, that's good, man. Like I said, I make music too. I mean, not that I'm promoting myself or anything, but I do music mashups and I do also play instruments as well. So big kudos to you, man.
It all just feels like a
Keep
cope
at it.
because at the end of the day, I'm alone. I crawl into bed alone. There's no one there when I'm stressed out, to talk to. I just have my four walls. And to vent out to the world anonymously on the internet. As time passes, it just becomes increasingly unlikely that much is really going to change for me. Not that I'm not trying to do something about it, because I have been. I I work out 3 or 4 days a week, and I go hang out with people on the weekends sometimes. But that's good for my mental health and well-being. But I'm getting older. I'm getting less desirable, and it just feels like the future holds nothing but declining health, declining looks, and even further decreasing dating opportunities. It's been 25 years since I became an adult, since I graduated high school.
It's a
A
long
quarter
time.
century of going it mostly alone. All these years with hardly any success with women, while everyone else dated and had their fun and settled down. It feels like the majority of my prime years are gone. Sand through my fingers. What do I have to show for all these years? I've been too embarrassed to look up and reach out to old classmates, because they're going to ask the usual questions.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
what the fuck am I going to tell them?
yeah. It's really embarrassing. That's what makes it hard to go to like these um these high school, middle school reunions, or even like I said, family get-togethers is really hard to. And I could feel the pain. It's. I know they say don't compare yourself to other people, but what if you can't help it? I mean, for me, I do feel like, for those who say, well, you can't just compare yourself to other people. That's a bad thing. Of course, I agree with that. But those who say that are usually the people that have not experienced this level of struggle, this level of loneliness, this level of like depression, that kind of thing. It's really tough.
I often wonder what I get out of bed every day for.
And I also want to add too, being 34 years old myself, um, I even thought to myself, where the fuck did the time go? I mean, it was like 10, 12 years ago that I had gotten out of college, like at 22, you know. Um, and and then here I am now. It's like, what do I do? What am I doing with my life? I know that's a hard thing. I used to have like all these aspirations and dreams, especially with to do with music, to do with creativity, but then it's like, and then it's like all this time passes. It's like, what the fuck happened? I thought to myself, like, man, I'm nowhere near where I want to be, or who I at 34 compared to you know before. But it does get to you. I mean, granted, I'm thankful that I have good health. I have some decent finances. Good health, some decent finances. At least a roof over my head, and a few family members that and friends that care for me. Um, you know, but still, you kind of wonder that.
Sometimes it's a real struggle when I note that things aren't really getting better in ways that matter, and are less likely to with each passing day and week and month and year. I just go slave away and then come home, and that's my life. And no one waiting for me. There's no "what should we do for dinner, honey" conversations. There's no cuddling up at night. There's no warmth next to me in the bed. I'm told to work on myself. And like I said, I have been. But it's never good enough. I run this endless self-improvement treadmill, wondering at what point I'll be worthy of love. At what point I'll be good enough for a woman.
I mean, yeah, it's true, work on yourself, but then like I said, there's comes a point in time where it's like the loneliness can really get to you. Um,
I'm never good enough. And the thing is, even if a girl is interested in me, I may or may not pick up on it, thanks to the aforementioned autism spectrum. I may not pick up on the choosing signals. And if I do, I'm seldom able to actually maintain interest. I mean, what do I talk about? I don't even know what to talk about. I don't know how to escalate things. I don't know. I never learned to flirt. Just, basic shit I should have learned in my young adulthood that I didn't. And I'm trying to catch up now at 44.
Just like, again, you just didn't have the right groups of people, family, friends, you know, who were who would sit down and help you out, man. That's the hard part, you know. That's the really hard part. When you don't have the right groups, you don't have even the right one person who would, like the wingman who would help you. That's what makes it really hard.
Just wondering if it's
And then people say, well, you need to go out there and join clubs, do all that. I mean, it's true, but what if you did that? You've met like minded people and it's still not enough. It's still not enough because somewhere along the way, of course, you'll meet like egotistical, snobbish bastards who would flex their skills on you and, make you hate your hobby. I mean, I know I'm going off tangent here, but, the point I'm trying to get at is like, it's hard to meet, you know, people who vibe with you. So I could feel where he's coming from.
if I'm just wondering if it's a fool's errand. I can't help but think that sometimes. I'm not able to get my physical or emotional needs met. I mean, can you imagine going multiple years without so much as feeling a girl's hand in yours? No validation. No one telling me she loves me. Not hearing those words. Life just feels so dull. So dull and empty. I'm so tired of being alone. I'm so tired of being alone.
He looks like he's
I
about
don't
to
know how much longer I
mentally
can do
break
it.
down.
I've heard all the usual platitudes, and they're usually coming from a place of good intentions. They're
I'm
usually
just checking
well-meaning.
to make sure that I'm just checking to make sure that this is still recording because there has been times when OBS would just crap out.
The ones,
I would
variations
hate
of,
it.
there's someone out there for everyone. I'm sure she'll come along. You'll find someone. Or my absolute number one favorite, love yourself first. All the while, watching relationships just come about naturally for other people. And the people offering these platitudes are invariably in relationships. They didn't struggle like I have. They don't know my struggles. They don't know the struggles I've had all my life. I hear that I shouldn't give up. And I haven't. I haven't, not quite yet. But why should I really expect things to just suddenly turn around for me now as a nearly middle-aged bachelor? With the relationship and dating experience of somebody young enough to be my kid. I mean, I just feel like that's going to be a red flag for a lot of women, honestly. This is a weird zone to be in. It's like being stuck at the life stage of someone just starting off in young adulthood.
Yeah.
Yet to people that age, I'm an old dude. But to people my
And it's really hard, when you're old, when you're getting older and you see guys, girls out there who are a decade, even half your age, a third of your age, doing way better than you are. It can really hurt a lot, you know? It can really, really hurt a lot. I know the world out there is mainly focused on developing the youth, developing the young people who are like who are still, of course, in their kids, teens, childhood years, even 20s. But then you don't see many guys out there above 40, who are you don't see that much help for men above the age of 40, you know. And that's one of the things that it makes it a huge struggle. It makes it a huge struggle. I wouldn't just say over 4. I would say over 35, you know. that kind of thing.
My own age, I'm basically an alien because we're just at such different life stages. You know, marriage, maybe even they're on their second or third, kids, parent teacher meetings, little league, a home and home upkeep, vacations, just very different concerns than I have. I mean, how do you even begin to relate to that?
You can't.
I mean, I'm living a completely different reality. A completely different reality. Try to imagine being over 40 and you still haven't even had your first serious relationship. Maybe a few short-term girlfriends here and there over the years. Girls who broke things off after a couple of weeks, a few months, maybe longer. They
I
got bored of
wouldn't
you or whatever.
I wouldn't just say like relationship, but having a decent, again, a decent group of friends or even one wingman who can help you or help each other out. You know, it's really hard. Really, again, I can't. I don't mean to sound like a broken record, but it's really really hard out there.
But never anything you consider bring home to meet the family serious. Years pass between them with nothing but empty spaces on the mental calendar. And watching your siblings pair off while you go home to your tiny empty apartment where the silence just gets absolutely deafening and where it never truly feels like home. Because why would it? It's just you. Seeing your former classmates on social media with their spouses and families and homes, some of them with grown children, while you sit in your apartment waiting for your frozen dinner to be done in the microwave, just like you did 20 years ago. Because you can't be motivated enough to learn to cook. You know, because it's hard to muster the effort to cook for one person. You know, one day you're 23 and wondering when it's going to happen for you.
Yeah.
And then the next thing you know, you turn around and you're staring down middle age and you're still alone. And you're wondering where the fuck all the time went. And you know what? It's only downhill from there.
And it does remind me of that one who was that older incel who's in his mid 60s. Forgot. I will look for that after this video, but
Your looks are fading. Your health is past its peak and it's only going to decline. And your dating prospects only continue falling off a cliff. And all you can see is more of the same, surviving and coping with a crushing loneliness until completely losing the will to do either anymore.
okay. Let me go find this other person here. What was this guy named Bo, who also did a reaction video to him. I'm not going to click on it, but I will say when I listened to his reaction video, I was disgusted by it. I thought I thought Bo handled it very very poorly. I mean, I mean, Bo. Don't get me wrong. He's a good guy. He helps a lot of men out to find themselves and be the best versions of themselves. But here, he really did come across as a complete douchebag. So it's like, so you can come across as you can come across as an asshole and very very brutal to this man here, and yet you come across Camelot 331 and give him a lot of credit and have a lot more sympathy for him for being 31 years old and having no friends. I didn't really get that. I mean, you know, that didn't make that much sense. I mean, I don't know if it's because Camelot has had relationship experiences and friendship experiences in the past, but for him to like show sympathy towards this man, towards Camelot for not having friends at 31 years old versus Aaron at 44 who's going through struggles. It's pathetic. I don't know. Again, I'm not knocking down Bo. Again, he's a good guy, but I thought I lost so much respect for him in regards to his judgment towards Aaron. So, anyways, guys, thanks for watching this and have a good one. Oh, and by the way, post post video, I forgot to mention. I know I didn't say much afterwards. I know I went off on a bit of a rant, especially since I didn't like Bo's reaction to Aaron. I mean, like I said, I thought it was disrespectful, but Aaron is doing actually better now. I'm glad that he's making some friends. He's what was it? He's finding like-minded, relatable people that he can talk with and just that's all. Just talk with and vent to. And yeah, he even still has depressed unwanted man as his recommendation here. Um, and here is his music channel. Um, what was that? He does have a music channel. He does produce some pretty good stuff here. And I mean, he should definitely keep going. Definitely keep going with it, man. Don't stop your hobby. Don't stop. Please do not stop. Don't be like me where I would just go at it and then stop because I'm being unmotivated. Keep doing it, man. Keep doing it. All right, that's about it. Thanks everybody for watching. Have a good one.